face right here, freaking man. What's up, guys? It's your boy, GRC. Got a little something going on up here. This is Crypto in the Morning, the greatest crypto show in the history of the universe. And we will be covering about 5 or 6 DeFi, fucking rug pulls, fucking hacks. We're going to be covering all sorts of hacks, all sorts of rug pulls, a lot of ads being turned into, I don't know. On FTX, they said there was an ad on the homepage that potentially got hacked into, and you would just get liquidated if you clicked on it. I hate to laugh, but it's been so ridiculously, like Sam, and I always talk to Sam when I'm up here because he can't respond to me, so I know that I can finish my point. Sam, they're like, hey guys, we're gonna write an article about how it's over. Like literally everyone's just like, oh guys, we're fucked anyway. Just write an article real quick, spin something up, and you will all buy it. You'll all buy it because it's an article on the internet. It's like we have to get past this point where you're reading things and thinking for some reason that it's true. It's not true. Everything Do Kwon writes is false. He lies about everything because he's financially incentivized to, and if he doesn't, the people that he works for will be very upset. So understand that. And when I say works for, I mean, even if you don't work for nobody, you work for somebody. You know what I mean? If you're rich enough, so you got to play within the rules, guys. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic morning. Sam's in the background. We have special guest RG3 coming after 30 minutes or so. Me and Sam are going to chop up for a bit. Sam wants to know, is this even possible? Is crypto even possible if it's not pegged to the dollar? Is it? Sam, is it? Nobody knows. Are stablecoins necessary? Is decentralization even real, Sam? Because pretty much no. Everyone can say whatever they want about decentralization, but at some point there was a dude at a desk who wrote some shit and then minted himself like 1 billion free coins. So that doesn't sound decentralized to me, does it, Sam? No, it does not. So why don't we use logic and reason when we're working through these things rather than being a stupid, non-thinker? Because at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to take me to the next level is the truth. And the only thing that's going to take this show to the next level is me trying to be as honest as possible. So we're going to try to be very thorough as we move through some of these things for the people that are here, for the people that are new. Guys, if you know me and you do not like me, F you. But if you're in here and you want to support me and you think, man, this dude has a lot of potential, he's going to be helping me with crypto every single morning for the near future, maybe I should retweet this, like this, subscribe to this. That would be really awesome. I would really appreciate that. That's pretty much all I want at this point. It's just like I like subs, I like comments, and I like likes, and that's all free. So if you guys don't do it, I'll see you at PulseCon. All right, let's play that video, guys. Biceps! Are you there, Bullish? Watch, he's not there. Watch in the private chat. He said, be right back. I guarantee it. Let me.
Young folks, you dripping on them motherfucker.
Rich at heart. Rich at heart.
Bought my hex from the fucking start. Point one every day we mark. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm rich at heart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm rich at heart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Checking my MetaMask moving. Look at the hex, he is mooning. Looking at wives they be choosing. Peter is why they be losing. Pro chains out, now get me a check. He's gas up and it got me a mess. Remember the times he died collect. Hex I been eating, I'm dying in the best. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hurt. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Buy my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hurt. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Richard Hurt. Richard Hurt. Richard Hurt. Richard Hurt. Getting this back like a year ago.
What's up, bro? What's going on, dude? How you doing? This is going to be an interesting episode. We got things going on, not just with QuickSwap, but there's also something I think with Spirit Swap going on in the hack related to the GoDaddy. There's stuff going on with Doquan. There's all this crazy shit happening right now. This is going to be interesting. This is going to provide a massive opportunity for people who buy the dip. And this is going to be a tremendous opportunity for people who go in, see the devastation, and realize that there's gold out there. You just have to go find that gold and buy it at a discount. So this is going to be a super interesting episode. Hope everybody is doing well. Let's say hi to the comments here. I'm doing amazing. I actually just did a video on a stable coin that is going to be coming over. So if you guys want to check that out when it comes out. But let's say hi to the chat real quick. What's up, GRC? It's a great day, Tracy. I'm doing well. Thanks, Sam. I'm doing awesome. I'm just going to call this Elon's Hex something.
Sam, I swallowed my shit. Give me a second. Will you give me a second?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yeah, take your time. Finish your shit. Hex Boy, what's good? The beach with my sister. Whoops. My sister and my nephew was awesome. He got some shark jaws. He definitely liked it. Siren was good. Rush Kino. It's right by I'm like 10 minutes from the beach. So I like to go to the beach often. We have Dixon Piper. Good morning. Good morning. I hope everybody is doing amazing on this Saturday. It's crazy shit is happening right now. Crazy shit is happening. All of this is taking place like right before Pulse Chain is launching. We have DeFi kind of collapsing, so to speak. We have a lot of stuff going on. This morning, Ethereum was less than $2,000. Less than $2,000 for an Ethereum. When was the last time that happened? This is some crazy times. I'm super curious to see how this is going to play out. Stefan, serious question. You guys ever worry about whole portfolio being in Hex? Yes, I do. But I don't know what GRC has to say. But I mean, like, there we go. So think about there's benefits to that, but there's also the potential downside of it. If you're
what you want, right? It depends. Do you have IRL investments? That also matters. So like, depending on your economic state on feet, it's going to be 100% proportional to that answer. So it's impossible to answer. But like, if you have 100 investments on feet and you're all in Hex on crypto, like that's amazing. you're crushing. But if you have nothing on feet in only Hex, I would say maybe you want to spread it out a little more. Maybe a house and some other crypto. That would be my personal. Just it varies. Why, Sam? Why tangent buy Bitcoin? Because he already has 3 supercars in Perth. You know what I mean? He wants his shit to be secure. That's it. Okay.
Yeah,
so people aren't 100%. People aren't 100% with Hex yet. We are maybe, but I wouldn't want someone to be 100% on Hex that didn't know about Hex.
Correct, because you have to understand it. So you have two sides here. You have like the legacy side, which says that diversification is the thing that you should do. You should take your portfolio and you should split it up into a bunch of different investments. So you know what that does? It helps out Wall Street, right? Because then you don't know what the fuck's going on in your portfolio and they make the money. On the other hand, look at people who are very successful investors, right? What do people who are very successful investors do? They go all in on one thing. Right? You get Warren Buffett. He's all in on his company, right? And what his investments are, he's not selling any of that shit. And at certain points, it made up gigantic portions of his portfolio. So Bezos, right? His entire net worth, virtually all 99.9% of it was in Amazon. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, right? All these people
but that's not fair.
companies.
That's not fair. those aren't fair comparisons because their economic mass on the 1% is so large.
But it's just because they held it for a long time.
Oh, exactly. Yes, you're right. No, 100%. I didn't know that was your point, but yeah, no, I totally agree with that. 100%.
So you could diversify or go back.
I want to ask you a question. Let's just drop whatever we're talking about. Let's get right into the meat and potatoes. Okay.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Is there any such thing as decentralized cryptocurrency?
Depends. Let's come up with
There
a
we
definition.
go. There we go. There's the question. Let's start from the beginning.
What is your definition of decentralized?
No middleman.
But then, and where do you draw that line? Because we're going to be decentralized to the point.
How about not no middleman, no counterparty risk?
But that spectrum can keep expanding, right? Because look at the hack that happened. So there's a tweet,
how tight can you get it? How tight? How tight can you get it?
Well, like look at the domains are getting hacked now. So is it really decentralized? If everything else is decentralized, and then that's the choke point. So you just
tell me about
decentralized.
What about it? How does a domain get hacked if there's more than one front end? Because there's many front ends for hacks.
Well, so whatever front end is probably going to be the most used. So having something
but if we knew one thing
Hex.
was wrong, and at least in Hex, you'd get a tweet from Richard in about 6 minutes, 3 minutes. Worst case scenario, that's at least. Worst case scenario, everything decentralized about it fails, and Richard has to tweet out that something happened and then not to do it. And it probably takes 3 minutes. Twitter these days, anyone who's in crypto is watching Richard's tweets, period. So, guys, it's also about like understanding what you need to know on the fly, like who you need to pay attention to. Like I was telling Bullish this morning, I'm like, dude, I'm locked in. I'm following every account I need to now. Like it took me a while to find the accounts I needed to find to note because I put the notifications on the ones that are good. You find 7 or 8 guys and they're feeding you the best info in history all day long. And it's period.
You get to curate what your feed is going to look like on people who are.
Dude, I was hanging out with this girl and she said period at the end of every sentence. And I am literally doing it. Oh my God, it happened. I was literally making fun of her for this too. I was like, why do you say that? And I'm literally just said period 7 times.
Trying to get the point across by adding a period word into your phrasing there.
Oh
so,
my God. I hope she's not watching.
How was it? How was it? Good time?
How was what?
How was a good time?
No. I'm a man of the Lord. And I don't play. You know I don't play like that. Ever since P dumped me, I've just been celibate like a freaking, I don't leave here and I don't have any money and I don't do anything. And that's what I'll tell everyone for the rest of the time. Have you guys noticed my strategy of just saying I'm absolutely broke, absolutely have nothing, like every single day? Because it works. Like people want to know, like, Scott, well, people think that if somehow everyone thought I was rich, that it would somehow make me cooler. You guys are wrong. You missed that. It took you 30 years to not figure out that was true. You fucked up on that. Because it's not true. Guess what? It doesn't matter how much money you have. It matters how much drive you have. People see your feeling. They know what you're capable of. And they're attracted to that. It ain't about the money. What's the money when some dude freaking gets in your face, tells you, give me all your shit, and you take your freaking pants off and go in the fuck. You know what I mean, Sam? Like,
yeah.
Money then.
So what do we when we're talking about decentralized?
Yeah.
What is so right? Because you can say something's decentralized, but then you can get decentralized to the point until there's like a wall you hit. Right. So if you only have one front end,
well, I think
then is it decentralized?
The first wall. I think it's the initial when you start the damn thing, right? Because that's what's decentralized about me or Richard wanting to, or anyone coming out with something. What is decentralized about that? Hey guys, tweet that out real quick. That's the Hex Streamers tweet. Give them some love. Give me some love. Send that tweet around because they're always tweeting out our stuff and we appreciate that.
Yes.
And smash the like, guys. If you're in here, we have a solid hour and 20 minutes of absolutely mentally stimulating fire. So just get ready. I'm getting prepped. Let's go. Decentralization. When you start a product, let's talk about this. We didn't research for this at all. But like, you have to start somewhere, right? Where do you start? You start writing code, right? And who writes the code and who tells the guy to write the code to write the code? And what is the guy that's writing the code thinking? And what's the guy that's telling the guy to write the code thinking? And what happens if he gets on a drug bender? And what happens if his girlfriend, like
So do you consider something that has an admin key to be decentralized?
no.
So then Ethereum's not completely right because they don't.
But they're
Right, it's
working
still
on
a
that.
project.
They're working on
Right?
that.
Yeah,
That's part of their horizon. So we understand that's part of their horizon, and they make that very public.
But a lot of projects are that way.
Yeah, but Ethereum's like, I mean, if we only pay attention to Ethereum, so I mean,
Yes.
I'm saying we
But
only
Bitcoin's the same thing, right?
no Bitcoin sucks.
No, but Bitcoin.
Bitcoin's so good. Hey, remember when you guys were like, "Don't be so hard on those young guys," and I was like, "Why is your whole project backed by fucking Bitcoin?" And you guys were like, "Don't be so hard on the guy. He's a young man." And I was just like, "You got to be hard on him because it makes no sense." And I know exactly what they were saying. And it's hard because I knew what I was saying, but they weren't certain. But I was so sure because I've been so intimately familiar with this bear market that's been staring us in the fucking face for 6 months. And Richard's been covering it. I've been covering it. Everyone's covering it. Anyone who follows Richard closely has been locked in on this bear market, other than Tangent for somehow. And
But who knows what?
Exactly
Who knows what
accurate
bags
to
he
the
has?
huh?
Who knows what size bags Tangent has? We don't know if that's.
He's in Perth in the supercars. He doesn't even need anything over there. It's literally he's in the jungle and they won't let him leave his country anyway. So what's the money going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
stuck
He
down there.
needs to get on like a tube from a bicycle or something to be able to leave his country and just start floating into the ocean to get away from.
I was joking, Tangent. I know you watch this, so if you are watching this, you know I was joking. I always feel like how Tangent's one of those guys that can take a punch, but you don't. I always feel bad when I give him a punch, but then he always reminds me in a really nice way that he can take a punch. He's like, "Hey, it's okay when you joke around with me." I'm like, those are the best guys. The ones that are like, "Hey, it's okay, you can joke around with me." I'm like, dude, you're the best.
So something has an admin key. It's not decentralized. So Ethereum's not decentralized.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So at what point I think that we get to a choke
Is
point?
Uniswap decentralized?
I think
Or
Uniswap.
detaching it from Ethereum and saying we'll never go off of it, I guess.
Well, I think when we talk about Uniswap, I think we need to talk about a category, maybe, right? Because I don't know enough about Uniswap. I think it's
a deck.
I think they can upload it. I think they can update it. Correct.
You know the one thing that we're missing from our toolbox that I know we're missing, both of us. We don't know enough about the oracles and the fucking voting bullshit. Because everyone always mentions that stuff, and I'm like, who's voting on what? The 32 rich people? Like, what are they? Not a consensus?
So Uniswap has keys. So here's the thing.
Let's get
like
RG on here so we can clear some of this up too. RG, I know you're listening in the background. We were just trying to let everyone know that you're just a little smarter than us so they could let us babble for a little bit. No, literally. It's nice when these guys that have just much more time under tension, we say in the workout world. Like me and Sam are very familiar with how flimsy some of these nuanced points can be. So I always have to tell Sam, like, if you don't understand that, he says the same thing to me. Like, he's like, do you not get that yet? Do you not get that yet? But when guys come in and they have 10 years of experience, we know those edges are rough. So we don't have to double back and we can just defer, right? And that's why I love conversating with guys so much, because you can really, it's an art. It really is an art. And like, I'm really good at it. Sometimes, Sam, I think that you go off into Mr. Smartman world a little too hard, just for minutes at a time. And you're just like, people don't even know what you're saying. But then other times I'm just talking nonsense. So it's like, you see what I mean? It's just like, it's a little.
What goes back and forth because it's like I'm just ready to talk about the topic, and you're just off in some other.
It's like taking a poop and putting it on your head, guys.
What about that? What's on your head right now? Actually, call that alfalfa. Alfalfa with that. So I think this is going to probably transition to being more decentralized front ends, because of what's taking place.
I don't. I think it's going to go the other way.
How you think it's going to be more centralized because it's going to increase risk, though?
It's going to be too hard. They're going to make it too hard.
What? Who's going to make what too hard?
Everything's going to be too hard to stay away, like to keep everything decentralized, and there's going to be so many. Like, yeah, maybe RH's products will be. I mean, it's hard to say because I don't know enough about. Okay, so think about this, Sam. This is so fucking awesome. But Ethereum's there, right? And it's connected to the banks. And now we're forking the Pulse chain over here. Now we're going to connect to the banks, right? There's people already doing it. RG's coming in here.
When you say connecting to banks, are you referring
It's
to being on
way, shape, or
exchanges?
form, you're taking the money out.
So you're referring to like being on exchanges?
Yeah. So at some point, that's
Okay,
what I'm
okay.
confused about, because the only thing that doesn't make sense in my head is, how does the dollar get to my house
What do you mean?
from decentralized completely to my house? Is that ever possible? Like, I'm talking about cash, like, like,
So dollar, you're talking about $100. You have $1,000 in USD, right? You've got $1,000 like this cash here, and you want to put it into crypto. Is that what you're talking about?
No, in a way for RG. My question probably doesn't make sense. All I'm saying is, like, how do you not connect to the banks? It's not a confusing question, but it is a confusing question. It's like, at what point is somebody cashing out, or there's some third-party risk? Either or. It's always either or. It's always cashing out, or it's always third-party risk, Sam. It's either I'm giving my money to RG and having him handle it for 30 whatever a year. That's the normal way to do it. Or I'm cashing out at the bank, taking the L with the with the fees or whatever. And I'm going home with it. And someone's going to know about your shit. Unless what I could do is have a bank at my house somehow, take all my money out and have enough money still in crypto to transact with everyone. Is that complete? When can you just make your own bank? Why can't I just?
But it doesn't that what crypto allow you to do? Doesn't crypto allow you
dollars anymore?
What's that?
But there's US dollars still.
But you don't need to interact with US dollars.
You don't,
right? Well, you're getting closer to that point. I'm getting closer to that point. And this point next year, I plan on very rarely interacting with US dollars. And there's going to be more products and protocols and cryptos that come along that allow us to actually do that and not interact with all those things. So this, I don't know. I think that's what is Sam drinking? This is
so let me ask you a more detailed question then. How do you fiat on ramp? You tell me right now. How do you fiat on ramp your pulse chain? Whether you have to bridge it or not, and how are you going to do it?
So if I want to buy Pulse,
no. If you want to sell it, if you have it already, you already have.
Okay. So if you have to sell Pulse, I would probably go through PulseX to swap into something that I could bring through the bridge to bring to Uniswap, and that. Either that allow me to go directly to Coinbase, or I would be able to like go from PulseX to Uniswap to swap to Coinbase. One of those two things. Does that make sense? So you have Pulse, right?
What? And then once you're on Uniswap, then where?
Go over to Coinbase to get my money out.
You're centralized. So how do we do it not centralized?
How we do it is not centralized is by being big enough so that we are the thing and everybody does what we do.
That's like that. Yeah. See, that's what the whole goal is. It's like, I think we all intuitively know the same thing then. I think it is kind of intuitive, right? Like we know this has to get bigger. This must be bigger.
And if you look, right, I've talked about this in probably 5 of the last 6 streams. Like there's the S curve. It's
Why don't you pull that up real quick? Show the people kind of what you.
Yeah.
So guys, let me explain
for a
how he
second.
pulls this up. I've been talking about this a little while. He's showing it. We are in a very early investor zone in the adoption curve rate of general large technologies that have entered our lives over the last 200 years. Is that correct, Sam? So we are in the infant stages. How old is an infant? Under 2 years old or something. I don't know. That could be wrong. But let's say we are at 2.5 or 3% of the world population has any interaction with cryptocurrency whatsoever. And most of that is automated anyway. So in the future, right? Like people will just be giving their S to the bank and it'll all be in crypto. So it'll be like, we're at 2.5%. Here's the punchline, guys. In 5 years, Sam Stoll predicts we will be rearing near 48 to 52% roughly in adoption. And that's on the gentle side of things. That's on the gentle, because when we do these things, you have to lean left because, it's not right to lean right on a prediction. It's always better to lean under. So we're talking about 50%. So people are like, how is this going to work?
People don't understand what is taking place right now.
People are talking and talking, and it's rippling, it's happening. Right.
Let me pull up to give a little bit of context here before we have RJ coming on. Or do you want to talk? Let's get RJ's opinion actually of what we're going to talk about.
He knows all the. He'll just tell us, you young whippersnappers, you need to shut up. Let me talk a little bit because y'all don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, you remember the Hex Investment Trust Kinetics?
Yes.
These are their best bros. Well, I know they're business partners. I don't know exactly directly their connection, but they both do the Hex Investment.
Oh, so what you're saying is RJ's a smart fella.
No. He's savvy with his mouth, dumb as a rock. But he's a talker. You know what I mean?
Well, let's
he's like
bring
Jim.
him on.
He's like Jim. He knows how to get around.
let's bring him on.
I'll bring him up. Hold on, don't bring him up yet. Don't bring him up yet because I don't see his camera. Just give him a minute. Let sure he's setting up. So we're talking about that S curve, Sam.
Yes, I got it. I've got it all pulled up here, so that I can actually show you guys what it actually looks like, because you kind of have to take a look at multiple pieces to put things together.
Pull the damn thing up.
When you look at adoption curves, every single technology has followed an adoption curve. It's an S curve, right? Where you start out maybe slow, like this one right here, which is automobiles, and it follows it up.
We're not loading in time. It's not loading. So. You
can't see this?
No, I could see it. It's loading. It could be my end, but I don't see it underneath either. Bullish, are you there? Fuck me. It could be my end. Hold on. 1 second.
I think it's.
What's up? What do you need?
Can you see this?
Yes.
I think it's on your end.
I'm gonna back out real quick. All right, invite RG3 up. I'm gonna back out. My shit's lagging.
Cool. Where are they? RJ, what's up, bro? What's
biceps?
Yes. What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing? Where'd Jim Rat go?
He was like, I don't want to talk to RJ. I'm going to let you talk to him.
I know that little
freaking
little dumbass whippersnapper.
He's saying his internet's fucked up just so he can go take a shit or something like that.
Yeah, more than likely.
Hey, what do you you're involved with like the Kinetics guy and doing like the advisor stuff?
So I'm the founder of all this shit. These guys do all the work. We should have had you on. We should have had you on. No, you don't want to have me on. I'm not the guy that knows all this stuff. I'm just the guy that puts it all together and puts the people together, and makes things keep going forward and keeps everybody in line. That's all I do. They're the ones that built this stuff. But what we knew, and my conversations in the beginning with my business partner, with my good friend, with my freaking crypto confidant, Kinetics, who is brilliant. We started talking about legacy products, fiat products, marrying with crypto products, because that's the bridge. It's always been the bridge. Unfortunately, all of the other cryptos have failed to provide something that can create that bridge. And then this whole decentralization narrative and this whole blow up the freaking world and this whole blow up the financial system is not getting us anywhere, because that's not what's going to happen. See, crypto is this little insignificant little piece of the puzzle in the world when it comes to a volume. There's trillions of dollars out there that have absolutely no give a shit about crypto. This little thing can go away so damn fast. There's 1 or 2 human beings that can destroy this whole thing if they wanted to, but they just don't understand it and they don't know how to. It's really insignificant. A very small portion of the world is in crypto. A lot of the world has now heard of crypto. They just don't know what it is. They're afraid of it. And the real money is just kind of playing around with it a little bit. So it's like in the world, it's really the mouse and the lion. You know, the lion is just playing around with it. And eventually, if crypto matures, grows, develops, and becomes part of the system, then it can be adopted. And then we'll see that mass expansion that we're all hoping and praying for. But this whole narrative about anarchy and blow up the world financial systems and destroy the banks and all that kind of crap, it isn't going to happen. You know,
can I get your opinion on some stuff? So
yeah.
My background is in finance. And
There you go.
If you look at like any technology, it doesn't, you name the technology, cars, electric, power steering, you can talk about anything related to technology, and there's always an S curve. And the chart here we normally see is, right, you see this, 2.5%. This is like 2 standard deviations away from the mean here in the center, right? And you see this many times in textbooks or people talking about it. If you stack the purple line from like 0 up to 100% of the adoption, you get to see that it looks kind of like an S, right? That's the yellow line in the background. When we take a look at, let me show you one more chart to just give more context so that you can believe me when I'm saying that this is how all adoption curves look. This is a boatload of different types of technology. We have vacuums, refrigerators, radio, all of this stuff, right? On how they're adopted. Well, if you look at crypto.com and I think this other research company, they both estimate a similar number of users who own crypto globally. So this is triple.io, right? So there is the current cryptocurrency across the world. They estimate about 4% of the world population owns crypto, 300 million users.
There you go. About 3 to 4%. That's what I thought.
So when we look at that first chart I looked at, how we go like this, right? The where it's the early adopters, and that was 2.5%. Now, what happens right after 2.5%? We hit this giant increase in adoption. Like this thing is already in the works of like, this is what I've been in crypto for 60 days, but I see this because I'm literally watching it play out with EVs and smart cars and that kind of thing with Tesla. So I see this happening, and I'm not seeing a lot of other people who are talking about this. And I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on this, because if you even just slow down the growth rate of new people into crypto to substantially less than what it has been historically, if you look at the last couple of years, we had over 1 billion users relatively quickly, and then that's 1/8 of the world population. And then by like my estimates are 2026, 2027, we're going to be at 50% of the world population owning crypto. And it's probably, if you've been in crypto for a couple of years, I would bet there's probably been a lot of people who've been saying these types of things, but not necessarily backing it up by the data and looking at adoption curves and that kind of thing. So I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on that.
So I'm with my son here, Jim Rat Crypto. He doesn't know, but I'm really his dad. Yeah, biceps, baby.
RG, hey, for real, Sam, you might not know this because you're kind of new to the Hex community. RG's made a crazy body transformation.
Yeah, dude, I'm getting ready. Ryan's texting me right now. Every day I have my accountability buddy. He's watching my diet, and then I have a trainer that we work in conjunction with each other, getting this thing dialed in. But I'm getting ready to go on my next weight loss phase. So I lost 30 pounds, and then so 30 pounds down. I'm in the 190, 189, 190. I'm getting ready to drop into the 170s, and then try and level off in the next few months here. And freaking abs by 55, baby. That's my goal. Abs by 55.
We love those long shot goals, right? Not long shot, but like real goals. Like I have goals that are huge. And it's the right goal to have, right?
I'm going to show them, man. I'm going to show them. I'm going to show them.
There's only a cut, and it's true. It's possible, but you have to have that exact mindset. There's no other mindset.
Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to come on your show.
Just like Sam knows he will be rock solid ripped until the day his body shuts off. And it's true. I know it for certain. If I had to guess, if I had to put all of my money on something, I would say he won't stop because he can't.
It's going to, that's for me too. I'm never going back. Nope. This is my lifestyle. The way my life has changed, and I want to live into the future healthy and feeling good. I've got my buddies. They're all dying on the couches, man. It's so sad. We can talk about that later. I want to get to Sam's question here because it's very cool. I heard you say something earlier, Jim Rat, and you said something about Sam being an analytic guy and you being just a, hey, fuck, I get it guy. And this is what really matters. Sam, you're 100% correct. And I don't know what the fuck those charts mean. I see them and my eyes go cross, but I know that there is nothing new under the sun. And I know that cycles come and cycles go. And I know, like you just said, and I've been saying it from the beginning of my shows, technology advances, technology adopts. The same the S curve you're seeing is just my saying. There's nothing new under the sun. This is how things go. This is how it always goes. And that's what we're seeing right now I've been in crypto before Bitcoin. And people go, what do you mean you were in crypto before Bitcoin? Well, I owned a gaming company, some of you idiots, where people were trying to sell me in-game cryptocurrencies when it first came out. That's what happened first.
Like that for a second, like what the heck were you doing? That sounds lit.
Well, I had a gaming platform that supported a game called Counter-Strike way back in the day. And it failed miserably, but I was trying to bring the first social media gaming platform.
A real opportunity back then with that Counter-Strike in that.
Yeah, but it was at the end of the .com boom, and everything crashed, and our software ended up on a shelf.
So until you came to the other side of that bear market, like that, that was probably a long winter. That one.
But you know what? But here's the thing, and this is where my age speaks to a lot of you, is that, you know, at the time my life was devastated, man. I put all my money, all my time, all my effort into that business, and it failed miserably. But because I was in the IIRC chat rooms and I was getting shilled cryptocurrencies by guys like Brock Pierce and all that kind of stuff, and I saw Bitcoin come out and whatever, that's that PayPal breaking bullshit, whatever, and blew it off. But because of that, I was exposed back in 2009, 2008. And when Bitcoin came out, and then finally somebody in like 2014 said, hey, yeah, send me some Bitcoin. And I'm like, you mean send you Bitcoin? With that PayPal crap? Yeah. So I sent him some because it was another software deal, and this guy wanted some of this Bitcoin. So I bought a bunch, sent it to him, and I had like $30 and change in there left over of Bitcoin. And then somebody asked me in 2015 to send him some Bitcoin. I'm like, geez, okay, I got that wallet thing in there somewhere, that Coinbase crap, and I pulled it up. There was like $800 in there, and that was like, oh, bing, what's going on here? You know, and that's when I started my cryptocurrency journey for real, was like, oh shit. And I crawled down in the rabbit hole. But I realized that there was a cycle and there was something happening here. And then as I started to unpeel the onion of what cryptocurrencies really were, I said, oh, this is going to have real world adoption. This technology could, if done properly, change the world. You know, and I want to be involved in that because that's something. So my past failure took me into current success. You know, I always call it failing forward. You fail, but boom, you learn something. You scraped your knee, you got a scar, and now just like building muscle, you know, you go in the gym, you rip that thing apart, and it rebuilds and it gets bigger and stronger. And that's what this is all about, you know. And the same with adoption. The same with this S curve you're talking about. All these things, they just take time. They take failure. They take advancement. Yep. And here we are today. You know, we saw Bitcoin. We saw Ethereum, both proof concepts, but fail. Bitcoin failed. Sorry. I know all of you, guys like Bitcoin.
On that for me and Sam from the perspective of like, when you say fail,
you've got a lot more context.
From my point of view, you mean it doesn't do what the white paper suggests.
It doesn't do what crypto should be doing. It proved a concept that we can make a transaction outside of the banking system, peer-to-peer on the internet securely. That's all it did. It proved that you could send and receive some shit that we can call value. And it did it bad. It was built on bad code. It's had bugs. It's had inflation bugs. And nobody wants to build on it because it's garbage. That's really what's going on. The devs don't want to touch it. They're done with it. There's more transactions being done with wrapped Bitcoin than there are on Lightning Network. So let's move to the next crypto, Ethereum. Ethereum proved that, hey, instead of that shitty code, let's make a new code called Solidity, and we'll packetize everything, make it real easy for people to understand and use so they can't screw their shit up like Bitcoin's all screwed up, that code. Let's make a good code. Well, they did that, and it did phenomenal. It's been building cryptos for years now, and everything's been working fine. But they screwed up. They put a mining algorithm in, allowed some people to hold the guns to their heads, and they didn't scale their network properly. So we have what we have here, a broken fucking crypto. Proved a concept, proved a concept, brought us something nice. But guess what? Next step. It's just like the VCR, guys. So first we had the fucking movie thing. You had to turn the handle and watch the movie. Well, it moved all the way up to the VCR and everybody was excited, but that wasn't the end of it either. And then we had DVDs and now we have streaming video.
Yeah.
There's nothing new under the sun, guys. It's all the same shit. So either move and adopt and move with technology or get left the fuck behind. Because that's what's happening.
Or cry about it and just pretend you're being fed.
Or cry about it. Now, the problem is that people are invested in this Bitcoin shit. That's the problem.
I love that you call it.
How do you see that playing out, though? Because, like, if you use that same analogy, right, like the VCR is dead for metaphor, like nobody uses VCR. There's a tiny, like, group of people who still use it, but it's like nothing. So do you see that kind of, you've got a lot more experience in life, right, and these things happening. Do you see that same type of thing happening with Bitcoin and Ethereum as we progress? Maybe not, it's not in that immediate frontier as in 24 months or 60 months, but in the future as we get real DeFi.
Is it any more stapled in because it's not an actual tangible thing? This is what I'm asking. Like, same question.
No, we don't need things to be tangible. That's been proven. I mean, look what happened to Blockbuster videos. It was days and that shit was like old hat. Days and it was gone. But Blockbuster was like, that was Friday freaking nights, man. Like, I had dates at Blockbuster. Like, let's, go to eat. Then we hang out at Blockbuster, walk around.
Netflix and chill. It was Netflix and chill.
Well, now it's Netflix and chill. But back then, you took your girl and you guys went through Blockbuster and you guys picked out a video and you took the damn thing home, and they usually didn't have the one you wanted because that one was the popular one. So you had to watch some other bullshit, right? So, that was life back then. And that was like in an instant, Redbox and Netflix and all that changed it. Like, in an instant. That's how fast technology moves. Now, back to the Bitcoin question. There's something different going on here. There's a dynamic because this technology has to do with money. And there has never been really a technological breakthrough in money since they created the paper dollars and all the bullshit that's going on. So it's a nuance. Now, like I said, there's nothing new under the sun, but there's differences. There's things that make it different. So how is it going to act and how is it going to react in that same situation or in that same S curve, you're calling it, everything has the S curve. We see it. But this is going to function differently because it is a currency and because people are invested in it. So you're good, but you're seeing them lose it. I mean, goddamn, Sailor's about to get liquidated and this man's, been up there and he's put billions up. So
will Bitcoin go to zero like every other horrible technology?
I mean, it certainly could. I don't think it's going to do it anytime soon.
Blockbuster went to zero. VCRs went to zero. Everything went to zero.
Do you see the same thing with
this? No, because what we've done is we've created digital gold with Bitcoin. So you've got all these people holding it, but I think it's going to go the way of gold. Well, that's what Ethereum did.
The DVR that became VCR.
That's what Ethereum did.
That now we're streaming.
That's what I'm saying. That wasn't a currency, though. It wasn't a currency. It was a VCR.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That's the nuance. That's the difference. So
once there's enough economic mass and old heads that don't feel like doing nothing involved, it's stuck and cemented in the ground for a while, at least, like until obviously.
Is that what you mean? Because there was giant companies, right, who made VCR like players, who made movies, and that was their whole thing. There was a shitload of individuals who owned stores. They were independent from blockchain or from Blockbuster that would like rent them out, right? Like if you didn't go to Blockbuster, you'd go to like the other,
and they all died. Where they're gone.
But that was like money in the system. But you're saying from the way you're seeing the world is different because
they changed those stores
money
into donut shops.
That's true.
And they sell donuts and fried rice, and that's all those small shop owners that owned those old VCR places, the small ones that you went into and had movies like me in it and stuff. I mean, you would
DVDs.
They have to see them move on to the next thing because they're just small business entrepreneurs.
They're still experts in the field, right? Like if I was on feet, right? I had a local business in my area. If I was on feet and there was a time where a new technology came out and all I did was learn about it and start selling it. Like I was just like, I'll be the first guy to learn about it, period.
And that's what those people did. And that's what you got going on here in this space. You've got a lot of entrepreneurs trying to do things, but they're going to end up adopting or working in the next viable technology. And we're seeing it come right now. It's Pulse. And we know that. We all know it. We know Hex is a better Bitcoin. Period. End of story. Unrefuted. You can't refute it. It is the best.
DVDs. Let's go back to that same analogy because I really enjoy that analogy, right? You got your VCR and we have the DVD. We have Bitcoin and we have Hex. One is, if that analogy holds true, one could die pretty quickly, right? As we go from 4% of the world population owning crypto to 37 to 65% of the world,
right?
One could right pass away, right? If that analogy holds. Like I like that analogy. That's a very interesting way of putting it.
It's the truth. It's what's coming. It's what's going to happen. You know, we've been saying it from when we first all had our aha moments. Me, Hexo, the guys on this channel. When we first go, holy shit, he really did this. He really did this. It's immutable. It's holy crap. And then now to sit here, I'm even more excited now after over 2 years of watching this thing not fail. I mean, we've all been waiting for it. Is there going to be a bug somewhere? Is there going to be something going to trip it up? Is what's going to happen? Nope. The system exactly as we all figured it, as we all watched it grow and move and develop, we were like, holy crap, he did it. He really did it. Now we're on the S curve of Hex, the Hex adoption curve. You know, just like streaming, there was 20 people watching my show on a weekly basis. 20 people would come in and and it was all of us chat room guys. And then all of a sudden I said, you know, and I said, one day there are going to be streamers that are better than us. There's going to be more streamers. We'll have hundreds of Hex streamers. And we were like, yeah, right. Yeah. Well, guess what? Just a little over 2 years and here we are. There's streamers everywhere. And for some reason I get to still sit here because all I did was push the button. I'm like you, bro. That's why I call you my son, because all I did is push the button and say, hey man, I'm here. Where are you guys at? Where's the smart guys at? You know, that's what I did. Yeah. I wasn't the smart guy in the room. And that's why I love your show, man, because it's like, hey, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm going to hit the button and see who shows up, you know?
But you find out really quickly that it's all just who keeps up to date the best, because crypto moves like a freaking, it's too big. It's like, I know that I'm not the most book smart dude in the world, but all I have to do is, guess what, guys? I could outweight all of you guys for years. I ain't got nothing to do. I'll sit here and talk about Hex forever because right now, this is the most important thing in my life right now. Right? Like right this moment, like for the next year, maybe whatever I got to do. I got stuff I'll do in the future, have kids, whatever. You never know what's going on. But right now, there's nothing more important and valuable into the world that I could interject than this, in my personal opinion.
100, bro. 100. That's how I felt, because when I had my aha moment with this and knew that it was what it is, I was like, the world's got to hear about this. And here's the beautiful part. Like all these other influencers out there, they got more subs than me. They got more clout than me. They can talk to bigger people than I can. But guess what? I have never had to pull a video down. I have never had to been told that I was wrong, that I hurt anybody, that I wrecked anybody, that I did anything wrong whatsoever. Not one of my streams. They're all up there. Go watch them. The one of me taking a piss in the bathroom that you could hear and all that. I left all that stuff up there for everybody to understand where we came from, to see our history and to see that we are not afraid and we don't have to. Why? Because even the dumbest of us could get up here and have Hex behind us and look like superstars. That's it. All I had to do was stand behind Hex. That's it. Hex is just leading the way. It's never going to fail me. So guess what? I can say what I want and I'm always going to be right.
When you're talking, RJ, it gives me like a resemblance of what happened with Tesla. So I've been following Tesla for 10 plus years. I just stopped following them. And back in 2009 or 10, to gather any information, there's nobody talking, but there's some blogs or weird sites I could go to gather information, right? The only thing I could go to is the company website and see if they were publishing anything. And then maybe there'd be like one person that would talk about something in a chat or a forum somewhere that you could interact with. And as each subsequent year passed by, there was more and more stuff coming out until the point where in a given year, you see more and more of those channels coming out, whether it is a blog or newspapers or streamers or all like Instagram profiles, Twitter profiles, and I'm seeing this with Hex because I saw the framework, just like you're like, hey, I saw VCRs and this, right? Like you're like, I fucking seen this game 100 times, and you see this playing out, and I'm like, I've been in crypto for 60 days, so I get in here and I'm like, I've been in crypto for 60 days. I've seen 10 fucking things launch. I've seen 12 new YouTube channels launch. I've seen this crazy amount of interaction. And so being on the internet too, to stack on top of this.
Sam posted a picture of his liver for dinner and it got 35 retweets because the Hexicans thought it was funny. And I was just like, is this a bull market or a bear market? I can't tell.
It's crazy. It's crazy what's happening.
Always been a bull market in Hex. I mean, and we get after each other in a bear market. That's for sure. I mean, the backbiting. I mean, I got scars all up and down my back from the dips because that's what this community does. Because they love the bull market, of course. But look at the chart, man. We ain't done nothing but go up, and the gains that we've seen in the 2+ years that we've been here, the chart is amazing. You just look at it and go, wow, even here in a 70-something% dip, it's still amazing. I still got a smile on my face with 70-something% dip. I've lost more millions than I've ever imagined I could have possibly had. And I'm still smiling.
Oh, I've lost more thousands than I thought I could ever lose. And listen to me, guys. I ain't even got money at all, and I've lost so many thousands of dollars in crypto. I could give two fucks. Because I'm
talking on Hex too.
No, me too. Literally, my first 5 stakes were like 3 days, and I end staked them, and then I did them like 5 years, and I end staked them again, and I had no idea I was losing coins the whole time. Like I had no fucking clue. And then I told everyone, and they were just like, "There's no way you're this stupid." And I'm like, "Hi, my name's Jim Rat. I'm this stupid. Like, can somebody help me?" And then everyone helped me. Like, just the kind of everyone. Well, I think like once I staked my stuff 555 for the first time. And I figured it out. I was kind of like, okay, I don't have a lot of money here, so I'm going to do it long, the whole deal. I went on Twitter. I made an account. And I was like, I just staked my Hex 555 for the first time. That's all I wrote, I think. And it got like 100 retweets. And I was like, what in the F is going on?
I remember when you did that.
I remember like, because I was listening to Dollar Cost and Wave 3 and Motley. Like I was getting little flashes on the internet. The algorithm was sending me some Hex people. I was in some paid groups. But then once I found Richard Hart's channel and I started digging into that, it was just like he cut right through the bullshit. I hang out with those type of guys. They don't play around, and their egos are more important to them than anything. So they would be devastated if anything happened to their product. I hang out with guys like that. Their image is everything. And that's a good thing sometimes, because when somebody puts their face out there like me and RG have, we're just saying, hey, we're giving you the opportunity to put our face out there if we say something stupid. But I promise you, I'm going to do my best to do this for me. Like, this is for me, right? And for everyone. But like, this is my journey, not anyone else's. And I'm just trying to be valuable I can. For me,
you're just documenting it, man. Yeah, it's just documenting your journey. And all of us have a different one, and a lot of people that's why I wanted so many more streamers to come to the space, because in Hex itself, because I know that there are people out there that don't resonate with me. And I wanted people to resonate I wanted somebody out there to resonate with everyone. And that's why I wanted the community to be exposed. And that's what the F and Hangout was about, was, hey, every Hexican, come into this stream and let people see who you are, and then go start your own stream, and that's what started happening. And there's people that won't watch my show that watch Dollar Cost Show, or watches, Cabana's show, or Motley show, or all these other guys' shows. That's what was necessary. And so we have to keep bringing personalities to the front, like you. I was so attracted to your show, man, because you were just raw and real, and like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's how I felt in the beginning, man. It took me back.
People are just so afraid to be like honest to everyone. Everyone's
that's it, bro. You know what this thing is built on? See, so crypto is supposed to be a tool for a community to develop and use and adopt. That's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be run by people. And that's the problem with all the other cryptos, is that they're managed and run, right? Everybody thinks Richard runs Hex. Richard doesn't run jack shit. When he hit that launch button, he lost control of the whole thing, really.
because now Hex is on its own. It's doing its own thing. Now there's arguments about the OA, but we know what that means. Those of us who understand what that is, we know what it means. And it just means total freaking annihilation of everything else out there is what the OA means. And even though everybody's footed it and said, oh no, Richard's got control of this whole thing. No. Richard's got control of this whole thing.
Well, I know. So it's a good thing. No, but I know it's a good thing, of course, for all of us that really trust Richard. But again, it is the one thing that everyone's going to point at, right? Everyone's going to point at. There's one point of failure. It's this one guy. It just happened to Quan. Let's be honest. Terra probably had 1,000 points of failure, but they still attacked it, whether or not. And the point of failure ended up being his mental capabilities. It truthfully did. Daquan got rugged. Or Doquan or whatever. He got rugged. And I'm not saying him and, they're all different people 100%. But I think if anyone's going to point at Hex and say anything, layer ones are totally different, right? Like there's going to have to be, there's obviously risk there and a lot of different things going on. But again, compared to Ethereum, imagine Pulse Chain with all off-ramping done. It's going to be it's over for Bitcoin. I don't even see it. Like, why? Imagine when all the off-ramping's done and we're not even interacting with Ethereum anymore, unless we want to do our stuff.
It's done. And even the real space doesn't understand. I heard them ask some people asking the other day, well, what happens if Ethereum fails? What's that going to do to Pulse? And I'm like, you guys really don't understand crypto, do you? You really don't.
Just move on. You just keep marching forwards. And
then Jim Rattle for Pulse Chain when everyone's dead.
Yeah, well, if Ethereum dies, it doesn't matter. Once Pulse is forked from Ethereum, it's its own chain, guys. It's done. It doesn't. Ethereum doesn't matter. Ethereum could blow up, but Vitalik can pull the plug on it. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Pulse Chain is its props to Vitalik for all the code. Thank you for the code, bro. You're the guy.
Yep. Sorry, your miners are holding you hostage, but that's what you got to do. You got to do. I don't know.
And the people that write articles for them are holding them hostage because they're all full of lies and misinterpretation. It's true. They tell you how long have we been talking about EIP? They used that EIP update to say this shit was going to the moon. Anyone with the brain was like, "What are you talking about? It's like, what are you gonna do? What's it gonna do? Change anything?" Everyone's like, "The burn rate is so severe now. It's going to the moon, directly to the moon." And anyone who looked at it was just like. And then now they're, ETH 2.0. I've been hearing about ETH 2.0 since the day that I found crypto. The first day, I'm sure I heard about ETH 2.0. Literally. Anytime ETH was out, ETH 2.0, staking. Once they found out staking was the jaunt, but nothing. No even news. They just
they've been talking about it for years.
6 years they stay now. They're
and they're still not there. Is that do you think there's gonna be another delay in the fall? Yeah.
No, they're gonna have to fork it like every other thing does. And guess who did it first?
I think Vitalik's gonna fork Pulse Chain.
That'd be funny. What if they just keep doubling down? This is forever.
I think Vitalik will probably fork Pulse Chain.
If I can go from Pulse to fiat and smoothly, oh my god.
Well, you directly, you mean, or you without that cumbersome process of switching?
Well, it'd be nice if I could pay for my ribeyes with Pulse Chain too. If I could just stay away from the bank. I just hate the banks, dude. I just hate all of it.
Those things are coming. The verticals are being built. That's what Kinetics and I and the team, with Wells and Hexo and the rest of the team there. A lot of people behind the scenes, dev team doing the work. We want to make a crypto fiat vertical, that true bridge, because once Pulse Chain launches and we have Pulse X, we have that true decentralized code. You guys are talking about what's decentralized and what's not. Decentralized code, which is what's important, not decentralized ownership of companies, businesses, and whatnot, because those companies that are centralized ownership tend to work better. The good ones tend to work better. Of course, the bad ones we see, like what we just saw, rug pull and wreck their people that are involved. Good ones continue on and grow and develop and bring innovation to the world. So centralized ownership and leadership is okay. It's the centralized code that's important.
Do you think like on that front of decentralized land, right? The ownership piece aside, we say this morning like QuickSwap and I think SpiritSwap, both of their domains were hacked through GoDaddy, right? Because then that's another point where people are just going to spread out further and further until there's a way to attack the system, whatever that might be, whether it's through the domain or then it's going to be through hosting or whatever the cases are just going further and further down the line as a way to attack that. So when you think about having something decentralized, do you see something like that playing out more and more, or something where you have multiple front ends so that you can kind of get around that?
Well, decentralization is a tool. For instance, let's look at a DAO. Let's look at a decentralized autonomous organization. So we have companies now that have infrastructure that creates that right now, but there are human beings and hands involved in that. But a DAO takes those things that can be mechanized, that can be turned into code, and puts those important things immutable, turns those things immutable, and that's what we've got to see this as. The whole narrative that, hey, blow up the outside world and let's all get in crypto and turn the world into a DAO and all this, it's not how it's going to happen. It's not. I understand. It's just like everybody's screaming for anarchy. Like, anarchy, man, that's the way to go. Everybody would be living in peace and harmony. Bullshit. You're always going to have your assholes out there that are going to fuck that up. So all the people that go and want to kumbaya, they end up getting mowed down by machine guns by the guys that say, no, I'm taking this shit over because it's anarchy. So you have to take the best and the most fucked up of what we got today and take the best of what we're learning in the technology and put them to use and make the world better, not try and turn your back. The one thing about, so the younger generations today, I'm real impressed and real proud of them because they do have vision. They do want to change the world and they're making new technologies and they've got a different narrative than the generations that I've come from. So I want to be immersed in it because I like what I'm seeing, but there's one thing that's missing, and that's wisdom to understand that the things that are in place don't necessarily need to be blown up. They just need to be fixed. Go and fix them. There's some good ideas in there, just like in America. I was a Marine. I stood on the line for the country. I did all that good stuff, and I see good in it, and I know that there's good in it still. And yeah, there may be problems, big problems that need to be solved. Politically, whatever, socially. But you got to go fix those things. You're not going to blow it up. You're not going to arm up, protect your home against the Marines if they're coming into your town. It's just not going to happen. So forget this narrative of the revolution and make it a mental revolution and go out there and change the world and fix things and bring these new technologies to fruition and marry them with the products that are working. Now, the banking system is bad because of what they've done and how they've screwed our money up, and they've gotten in cahoots with people within the government, and the government isn't even our government anymore. It's moneyed interest and the lobbying powers that are out there. Blah, 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 blah. There's this whole big rabbit hole of all that stuff that's going on. And when it comes down to is those few bad eggs that took something good and fucked it up for everybody else and made it good for themselves. So how do we fix that? Well, we got to go in and find out what their weaknesses are or what they're doing to fight us. So it's the lobby groups. So I'm flying to DC next month and I'm going to sit down in lobby rooms. I'm going to the lobby shops. I'm sitting down with lobbyists. I'm sitting down with PACs, with people that are trying to create crypto legislation. That's the things that we need to do. I need the smartest, the brightest, and the most powerful, like-minded people in crypto to come and join me and to come out there and try and change things. I need young, bright people to come out and start doing this because we have to come together and get this shit done. If we don't, they're gonna legislate us out of existence. It scared me the last time I saw the legislation that went into the omnibus bill about crypto because it was all against DeFi. It had nothing to do with being pro crypto. The rules that were being put into this last omnibus bill, which didn't pass, of course, we're set up against DeFi. So what did that tell me? Who did that? That was the exchanges. That was the coin ranking sites. They're the ones that are going after DeFi because they know that they lose if DeFi takes over. If these decentralized exchanges take over, they're a thing of the past. They already are a thing of the past. They're just holding on to power right now. And that's, controlling the narrative, because it's so easy to control the narrative out there. I'm involved, guys. And these people, you pay them a few bucks and they're writing whatever article you want. And there's some brilliant people out there writing some good articles that look like they're really saying some cool shit. When in all actuality, they're just a bunch of plebs sitting behind a computer at their homes, eating a Hot Pocket, fucking writing some good shit because they got the gift of gab.
Street smart guys are good at, right? I could pretty much go to any local place and start talking around, and I can tell you what bear market or bull market, like just by talking to 10 or 12 people. I'll be like, you heard about Bitcoin last week? You got any Shiba Inu? You got any Doge? You hear about crypto? You ever move any crypto? You ask 5 questions to 10 people. Be like, oh my God, SHIB's all over the place. I love it. I can't wait to buy it. Yeah, we're topping out. Period.
You brought up a couple of interesting points that I really like, and to go off of what GRC was saying a moment ago, or like a couple times actually over the last couple of streams, with the bridging between the two worlds, what legacy is and what crypto is. And you bring up the point relative to exchanges. And I see that like that bridge right now is like a gap, right? That will be filled, but eventually that gap just goes away and we're all in one space, right? And crypto exchanges are going to be going away completely. But you also talked about anarchy, right? And I'm 100% on board with this. And I see this as like, so I'm going back to like the data side of things. If we're at 4% of the world population who owns crypto today, we're in a bear market, right? We're going to go from where we're at right now, even if adoption slows, to mid-decade with people who didn't necessarily have, well, let's understand who's in crypto. People who don't necessarily appreciate government a lot. They don't necessarily appreciate a lot of the regulations. They don't like taxes to a bunch of people, right? And these characteristics are people that are attracted to crypto in general. Like obviously everybody's got their own effing reasons, right? But in general, people don't like regulations, they don't like taxes, and they don't like government to some degree, whether it's your other extreme or not. And what plays out as we go from 4% of the world population to 26 to 63 to 100% of people in crypto is that, and this is going to happen way before then, when we get to 12%, it's going to be taking place. We're going to have these people who don't really like these 3 things, who have boatloads of money, who are going to do exactly what RJ is talking about. They're going to take the resources.
It's RG, by the way, just to let you know.
I am sorry. Thank you for correcting me. I literally see you. I saw your name like 14 times, and I'm like calling you something else. Apologize. Thank you for correcting.
All right, man.
RG, who are going to take their resources and their time, and they're going to have intentional, purposeful actions behind those things. Like what you were just saying, going up and meeting with lobbyists, right? You're going to put your time and your resources into things that you support. And as we transition through this 4% to 26%, et cetera, you're going to have so many more people that have the financial resources that don't like government, big government. They don't like a lot of taxes, and they don't like a lot of the regulations out there, who are going to have the power to go through and influence things. It's not going to be like this is dead. Just like when Pulse Chain launches, Ethereum's not going to be dead, at least initially, but that transition, right? We didn't just like, okay, let's kill Ethereum. We have Pulse Chain. That's not how life works, as you've highlighted perfectly. It's you taking what works well in this system and you're bringing it over here with some modifications. You're like, oh, wow, there's some really beautiful ideas over here in Ethereum. These other things work really well. Some things here don't really like those ideas. Let's bring that over here and call this Pulse Chain, and let's make it faster and let's make it cheaper, right? And have these other incentives in place, right? And that's what we're doing. It's not like this is a good idea in some ways, right? We're just making it better. And that's what you were just talking about with whether it's politics or government or money. There's a lot of different things, especially like pharmaceutical things. Like there's a lot of areas that we can have certain ideas that are in place and make them better and change the incentives, change the structure of things to improve upon what we have so that everybody wins in the end. It's not like it's completely bad. There's some really gold there that we just need to find and brush off all the crap on top of it so that we can take that and highlight that and bring it forward to the next generation of things. So I wanted to highlight that.
Exactly. No, you're for being so new in here. I mean, obviously you've got real world wisdom in your brain and you understand things, because that's exactly, you know, how this needs to be looked at, because we're innovating. That's what we're doing. And you know, politics real quick. I know a lot of people in this space hate politics, and everybody right now hates politics because of the polarity that's been just, I mean, it's horrible what politics
Let
has
your
done.
boy GRC get in there and throw a tux on.
Right?
I don't give an S what those guys are saying. I'll bullshit those guys up the street.
Exactly, man. But see, the problem is everybody thinks, oh, it's this guy or it's that gal or it's this girl or that guy. It's not, it isn't that at all. Politics, see, people don't understand K Street. See, everyone thinks the Congress and the White House. No, the laws and politics really happen on a place called K Street. And that's where the lobbyists exist. And lobbyists write the laws. So all these laws that have put the boot on the neck of all of us hard-working, everyday citizens, these laws were put there by lobbyists. And what are the lobbyists? What is a lobbyist? Well, there was a little thing that was wrote. It was called Citizens United. And it sounds really good. Citizens United sounds really, really good. But what Citizens United does, it allows you to pour as much damn money as you want into a campaign, into politics, without being kind of discovered. So you can create these things that they have on K Street, where they can just shove as much money as they want into the pocket of a politician. And then on the other pocket, they shove a bill of legislation that they want written for them and their friends, that puts more power and more money into their pockets. So they shove the dollars and they shove the laws into the back seats and the back pockets of these congressmen and senators, and they kick them in the ass and put them back in the House to go vote on that stuff. And they say, if you don't get that shit passed, you see this young man right here or this young gal right here, this is who's got your job next year. And those guys are so scared that all they do is they go down to K Street and they suck up to these people. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So they can keep their job and their benefits and their cushy DC position. And that's what we have in this country.
How many people, how much money do we need spread off around every state? Are these companies, are these public or private companies?
It's all of the above. But they've created syndicates of them. There's syndicates, like there's like the bankers are together and they have their own super PACs. And
how do you get involved?
And that's just it. First, you go local. You go local, man. You go and get a position at the school board or just in your community, and you start learning how to speak to people and to speak to groups about change. And change starts at the local level, and then it moves out to the Fed. And what everybody can do is support, with their dollars, the right people that are going and doing the right thing. That's why I'm going to vet this PAC. They're the American Blockchain PAC, and we vetted them as far as looking at all their stuff, and they're all on the up and up. And we're going to go down there to visit with them and support them and see what they're doing and see what type of legislation they're looking at putting in place and see exactly where they fit in as far as this goes. So, I'm saying that the crypto community in general needs to start getting behind this, because if the DeFi community doesn't get behind this, then they're going to make laws that push us out. Why? Because the exchanges have money. So we're in the same situation as we were with the banks. Crypto, the exchanges don't want us to they don't want DeFi. They don't want
use those words interchangeably, almost like banks and decentralized exchanges are might as well. It's just the way in. It's just like, once it's attached to the dollar in the bank, and it's not yours any longer, they can do whatever they want with it. That's how I think about it theoretically. I always think about it like, what would be the worst case scenario? They could just take all your shit. At that point.
And don't forget, it's there's this saying that says, follow the money. Follow the money, follow the money, follow the money. It's always about the money, because the money is the power. And that's what they want, is that money. And they could care less if it's DeFi or centralized or whatever. They want their thing to survive. They want their thing to keep making them money. And they're making lots of money on these exchanges. These exchanges are making lots of money. So guess what? They've got lots of money and power to go use against us. The normal guy that wants to go and use DeFi says, I don't want to use your stupid system. I don't want to give you my keys. I want my own keys. I want my ability to do my trading without everybody knowing what I'm doing and seeing what I'm doing. I'll report to the proper authorities what I'm doing. I don't need you guys, you know, and that's what we want. But see, they don't want that. So if we don't get out there and start pushing legislation that's going to be favorable to DeFi, and see, that's the thing. Usually the people sit back like frogs in a pot and let the water percolate and bubble and boil until boom, all of a sudden there's legislation regulating decentralized finance. And then we're all like, oh, what the fuck happened? How come how did they do this to us? Blah, blah, blah. But nobody got off their ass and went out there and started doing something about it. That's what I'm doing. And that's what I'm trying to get the community to do. I'm going to get off my ass. I'm flying to DC and I'm going to go sit down with people that are going to do something for us and see, how can I help you? What can I do? Can I put some money in your guys' pockets to make this happen? Do I need to talk to some politicians? What do I got to do?
Now, let me ask you something, RG. Let's talk scenario real quick. Yeah. What if, let's say this, instead of, let's talk all the legislation stuff aside. Okay, I guess that you can't really put that aside. But you can't really put that aside. But what if Hex just became, or anything, right? I'm not talking about Hex, but like in this case, Hex became so popular and there were so many influencers with so many followers all over the internet. Like, banks aside, like, isn't there just some part of this that can just be over marketed to the point? Like, because we don't know where this can go, right? We're still grassroots. People don't know what's going on yet. We can make the decision. I was telling everyone before, if I wanted to go full-time social media for something and hire a producer and do everything, I really do believe that I could become popular very quick. I'm not saying I would have to be super honest to become popular. It might not be the best way, but in general, like if that was my only goal in life, to be super popular, I could do it. So there are avenues too where could we just get a lot of steam just like socially, or do we just need the whole thing, the whole shebangy?
Well, I mean,
because at what point is
there's a lot of people like you guys are all getting more followers. Like it took me a year to get like, 1,000 followers. Or something.
But think about this. I have been playing with Instagram intimately for years in the dating scene. I knew Instagram in and out. I knew these things in and out. I just didn't care about finance. You know what I mean? So when I came over, I was a natural because I have already done it. I just was doing it for a different purpose. I didn't care about followers, but I knew the game completely. Like I knew like what's cool, what looks good, quality pictures. You want to be fit. You want to look good all the time, no matter what. And like, I kind of got this vibe going. And then when I interjected myself as one of the first guys in my genre to join this, it was like, people were like, who is this guy? They were like poking at me. They're like, what is he doing here? Like, why is he talking so much? And what he works out every day, wakes up at 4 a.m. Why does he say it all the time? Why does he care about his life and his health? I was just the first guy from my view that started putting that out there. I was like, I don't like to party. I don't like to have sex with women. I think want that. And it's just like, you want to be more transparent. And I think, I forgot what we were talking about.
But I think you need both. To go back to what you're saying, and RG, I think you're probably going to interject afterwards. To go back to what you're saying, you kind of need both, right? Because you need somebody to like rally the troops, which is what creates the narrative. Because over the last 36 months, well, basically since the last couple of decades, you've been if you're paying attention, right? I've been in the internet world for 10 years or so plus now. So you see the narrative shifting where mainstream is just losing their wits. Like it's just lie after lie to try to grab attention. And they haven't figured out that you need to tell the truth. Like they just don't get it. A lot of them just don't get it. They're just like fucking clueless.
That's a good point. What is that? Why doesn't people all the YouTubers that don't tell the truth? They lie all day long. Lie. Mm-hmm. People know I'm telling the truth because I don't change my tune. People know Richard tells the truth because he hasn't changed the tune other than a little bit. Like over the years he's changed as a person. But in general, day to day, he doesn't change. These other guys, they come up, they get a little depressed, they go in their cave for a while, then they come out, they say some bull crap, they can't get behind it at all, then they go back away. It's like, just be transparent and tell people, guys, maybe you don't have the most money in the world. Maybe you do. Just say the truth. It's okay. Like, maybe you staked all your stuff 5, and you wish you didn't. That's okay. Just say it and work towards, like, I got hacked for everything I had, basically, you know, like in Liquid that I was playing with at least. And I didn't even care because I was like, this is so cool. It's either going to work out or it's not. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't care about my individual number. I cared about, like, this is either going to work out or it's not, frankly. Right? In a way.
But going back to changing the system, so to speak, right? We need people that are going to control the narrative and do it in an honest and authentic way, bringing the information to people that because that's going to be rallying people. But we also need people who are going to go play in the old system, that are going to bring that so that they can pull that, so to speak, to where we are, right? Which you were just mentioning, going through, because we kind of need both of those things, because we know the media is like important, right? It used to be 100+ years ago, you'd have somebody come from the neighboring town, you'd come in the town square, everybody would gather around and be like, oh, Sally married fucking John, and so bought the farm over here, right? And that was the news. And today we're getting on the internet and we're having these conversations and we're able to share this, which never could have happened before. So now we are able to control that narrative. And they're losing that grip of what's happening. So both of those pieces, because by going through and creating the narrative of reality, and that is the truth, then you're able to get more people involved that are going to go into the old system and just see corruption. Like, people's BS meters today are like continue to rise. And that's going to continue to happen, because then those people whose BS meters are fucking through the roof are going to get into the old system and be like, you're fucking lying. And just call shit out right up front.
Oh, there's nothing I like more than digging into people's ass. Nothing, guys. So if you are thinking about doing something stupid and just saying a bunch of false stuff about me, like, dude, I promise you, like, I'm a nice guy. I don't really care. But if you keep poking at me, I'm going to destroy you and ruin your life. So stop. Seriously. And you know I can do it. So just stop. I'm not going to call anyone out. I'm just chilling, guys. I have a lot of research to do. I'm just sitting here doing my thing. I don't want to do some travel crazy shit. I don't want any of it.
So let's talk about all, like, kind of unwrap some of the things you were talking about. And the most important thing that you guys are talking about is trust. And real people develop and build trust. Trust is foundational. Trust is built on bedrock. Trust is something that is given and received by people who trust one another because of their understanding of one another. It takes time. What we're seeing out there in the space right now, like, you'll see it perplexed me for a little while, but we'd see these guys that were very popular, that have millions, hundreds of thousands, of followers that follow them and listen to their advice. And then project after project after project scams out, wrecks people they've promoted. And then they go under a rock for a little while. They come back and they're promoting the next thing. And then those people get wrecked. Now let's just remember what I just said about trust. The reason I reached out to you guys is because I saw your streams and I was like, and these guys are real. They're a real deal. I like real humans that get out there and speak the truth. Whether they're right or wrong, they speak their truth. And
I've been wrong, guys.
And they correct afterwards. They say, you know what? I was wrong. They don't disappear and then come back and say something else and start a whole new narrative.
There was a time in my life where I thought if you didn't have 2 or 3 girlfriends, you weren't a man.
Right?
Literally. And now today, I don't feel that way at all. I feel the absolute opposite. I think that's the worst way to be, in my opinion, for me. I don't know about everyone else, but like the way that I feel now is so much better. 1,000, a billion, a trillion. It could not. And I was doing everything that everyone told me would make me, maybe not told me, but like some narrative that I built for myself. Like, that was the thing. And once I got it, I was like, this is literally the worst. Like, I just want to relax. I just want to be who I am for the first time. And once you break through that barrier, for sure, you got to be beat down real bad though. None of this half-ass shit. You got to really take a couple licks. You know what I mean?
And now this is how I feel about that, because I sit back and listen to people talk like that. Like when you were talking about the 3 girlfriend thing, you were adamant. You were like, this is the way it should be. No, you damn fools. And guess what? A bunch of people listen to that and they're like, he's fucking right, man. Yeah, man, he's right. Now, these are all the people that haven't come to the realization that you ended up coming to yet either. So the masses glom onto this stuff, just like in the crypto space, they glom onto this stuff and they all buy into it. And then they see the moonshot going and they're like, yeah, we were right. He is right. Woo. And it's a big freaking party until the crash and the realization of what has just transpired and the lie that was told. You know, see, I call that strong and wrong. People can go out there and be real strong about being wrong. And I've sat back and watched it a whole bunch of times and say, you know what? It's going to bite them in the ass. It will bite them in the ass. Just like all this crypto shit is going to bite a lot of these people in the ass, because I've been in the game. I've seen it. I've seen things come. I've seen things go. I've seen cryptos come. I've seen cryptos go. I've seen guys go out and do good things. And I've seen guys go out and get put in jail for it in this space. And there's nothing new under the sun. And when you know something is finally the truth, when you know that somebody's come to a good realization, then you can sit back and go, okay, this is another ally. This is another person we could bring into the mix, because we're going to build that foundation of trust and show people the right way to do things and move forward versus playing that same old game. Now, that's one place where maybe me and Richard differ from one another. I think that building a strong foundation and not trying to put shiny objects out there for people is what's important. Now, I've been a lot slower in my growth because of that, you know, because I'm not out there making thumbnails that have the pulse chain and Louis Vuitton and
I think it's just a shtick. Everyone has a shtick, and he's just doing what he can because he's
doing his thing. I get it.
I got all this money and I'm a computer guy, so what's the easiest way to come?
But I want to build on trust and respect and professionalism is what I want to build on. And, you know, I have my own shtick. You know, I'm the freaking pirate. I'm the guy from the LA streets. This is who I am. This is what I do. And I'm not going to change that part of it, but I'm going to come from a place of truth and truth and trust. And that's what I want to build on is that bedrock of trust. And that's what it all boils down to. How many people are going to end up trusting you at the end of the day? And, you know, and I think that's where this community is at. We're at a crossroads where we're either going to, we're not at really a crossroads. There is a fork in the road coming, no pun intended. And we're taking crypto to a whole nother level. We're taking it in a whole nother direction.
It's like
it's built on that trust.
Ethereum. Sam, I want to know, do you have any questions about like literally Pulse Chain, PulseX, anything like while we're here so we can hammer out it? Anything like, do you have any questions about how things are going to be? Because RG would be the guy that would probably know a lot of the like classic answers for stuff like that.
Are you, which are you more bullish on?
What am I more bullish on? Oh, geez. So I think there's short.
Because I feel like the reason I asked that question, the details, I can figure out the details, but I don't know how he thinks. And
talk about the differences between them in your opinion in like some scenarios. Like, what do you think?
So everybody's got a different play. I'm 54 years old. My play is a lot different than your guys' play. You guys are younger men. You have a lot more risk tolerance. You have a different time horizon. So everyone's play is different. Now, what do I think, or how do I look at the products as far as their viability, short-term, long-term? That's really what matters, because then once you see what short-term and long-term effects these things could play out in the future, and I say could play out because this is just my speculation. Everybody has their own speculation. Then you could put your time horizon and your risk tolerance in the middle of what is perceived to be happening here. So when I look at all these cryptos, and of course, I've played my strategy the whole time, what I've needed to do for myself. So that's all past. That's all in the past. Now obviously there's a future play here, but again, my time horizon and everything is different. But I've always seen Hex as the GOAT. Hex is the GOAT. That's the greatest crypto of all time. It has the ability to change the world as far as finance goes. That's what Hex does. The inflation model itself and the yield generating tool and the amount of yield that will be consistently gathered because of you're a Hex staker is a global game changer. Period. End of story. Richard, may have joked about it or poked people in the eye with it, but he deserves a damn Nobel Prize for Hex. He really does. And one day we may see something close to that. I think that Hex will be the ultimate long-term play for everyone. If you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, there is no reason why you shouldn't be staking 15-year stakes all over the damn place. Because right now, because of the T-share price, you should be staking Hex. You should be getting into Hex and staking your Hex, is my opinion on, the Hex ecosystem, because it's the GOAT and it's going to make you the most yield. It's just like when I was told as a young man, do that 401k. It's a 50% match. You need to do that 401k. No one gives you,
literally,
nobody gives you free money,
My strategy.
And that was the best thing at the time. Now a 401k is really a 104k and it's bullshit and it's garbage. But back then it was the best thing going when I was a young man. So I listened to them and like I said, nothing new under the sun. This is the new tool. And this is a better tool than that damn 401k. So Hex is the GOAT. Period. End of story. You've got to have Hex in your.
And let's be honest, the buy wall to get to Hex, not buy wall as in the Ethereum fees, not all that, but just like the intellectual wall to get all the way to the point where you're staking Hex on a decentralized wallet that you understand. It's a large buy wall, guys. So don't be negligent, but understand that if people are already in crypto, you should. I send people that are already in crypto in this direction and smart people in my life. But to be honest, I've started to slip away from people that don't care because I'm just I don't care. I gotta go. There's stuff to do. But there's a couple people like Sam. Sam, I've known Sam for 6 years. We've never met, and he was my life coach and personal trainer. And then I just told him about Hex, and he was like, "This is sick," and we were like, "Let's just stream about it."
That was 6 years
Nice.
ago.
So now on to the next step of this. So Hex is the GOAT. Everyone should be, if they're in this ecosystem, Hex should be in your wallet. It's the play. It's the long-term play. And everybody has a certain type of long-term play based on their horizon and their risk tolerance. Pulse is going to be the road that gets Hex out to the world. It's going to be where the verticals are going to be built. It's going to be the introduction of Web3 to the world. It's going to create the metaverse. All those things are going to come from Pulse. People don't understand that the metaverse is here. Web3 is here. There's just not a blockchain that can support it. All of the companies that I'm talking to that want Web3 or metaverse projects are stuck because they don't have a blockchain that works. And they don't understand this. They don't even understand this at the CEO level. The techs know. When I tell the techs what I have with Pulse, they freaking light up.
Can you go into depth on that a little bit to explain that? So this is 100% selfish question, but I'm sure it'll be valuable to people listening.
Thank you for the $5 super sticker, Tank Crypto. Thank you for being in here and supporting us all the time.
Biceps.
Good morning, Motley.
So, hey, what's up, Molly? So the metaverse. The metaverse is going to be Web3 or a new immersive experience to the internet. So first there was email, then there was web pages, and then it turned into streaming video and all of these other things and met Web2. And now Web3 is coming where it's going to be an immersive experience.
I've only been Web3, literally. I've never had nothing but ever since I was a kid, though, I've been in immersive experiences within the internet for video games, though, right?
Yeah. And those are semi-immersive. Now we're going to be encompassed.
Yeah.
And then trainers are going to be able to go and walk in a room with people that are working out in his room, in their own living rooms. And you're going to be able to go and sit and see a ringside seat with your bro. And he's going to be in Chicago in his couch, and you're going to be in California on your couch, sipping on your beer, ringside, watching the same fight together, chatting. And that's the kind of stuff that we're going to see in Web3. Now, the technology's there. The cameras are there. The throughput is what the problem is. And the existence of a blockchain that can support all of that, and some of the underlying technologies that can bring that to fruition. I can't say, I don't want to give up any secrets for some of this stuff, but Web3 is coming, and Pulse Chain is going to allow that to happen. Why? Because these other companies out there, big companies, biggest companies in the world, have tried to set up their own metaverse projects, but they haven't been able to do so because they're on failed chains. They're in these little compartmentalized worlds on other chains that don't offer access, that don't have the throughput, that go down all the time. So if Pulse Chain launches successfully, and this is a big if Pulse Chain launches successfully and the fees are low, the throughput is high, and the ability to build these technologies that need to exist for Web3 to happen can come to fruition, then that turns us into another game changer. This takes the internet to the 21st century.
So this could be, if I'm understanding what you're trying to put forth here, like the idea is that the metaverse could live on top of Pulse Chain, so to speak, where
there's portions of it and technologies that are necessary to make it exist, to make it really happen, can run on the blockchain, have to run on the blockchain. As far as DAOs go and tokenization goes, and delivering these technologies to the experience, you have to have a good, strong blockchain to do so. You have to have throughput, and you have to have cheap fees, or else Ethereum, it doesn't work.
Why do you need a blockchain though, right? Because don't companies have their own metaverse? Like what?
But yeah, it's just like this. It's this. It's not. It doesn't expand globally. It doesn't touch other worlds. It doesn't intermingle. It's like going to a website.
Okay. So the concept of metaverse from your POV sounds much more broad than my elementary understanding of where I perceive.
Yeah. You can go and get a 3D experience in your living room.
Layer one, like they could do all this like economic shit from people playing Fortnite. Like if everyone did it.
Is the metaverse
layer one if it was just what people were using and they just made functions off that, or is layer one only for just block? Is layer one just a term for like? Because I'm just not a tech dude, so I don't know like the terms exactly.
I don't either, bro. I don't. I know enough to get me in a lot of trouble. So the first layer can be explained like it was email. Like email was like layer one. That was the first advent of the internet, was being able to send commerce back and forth and get rid of the fax machine. So the fax machine went away. Then it was, a landing page. The landing pages were like worth millions, just like a NFT is today, like millions of dollars for these landing pages. And what was it? It was a freaking business card or some sticker that somebody stuck in, or a door hanger.
Emails or something.
It was, and that was layer two, and that's when it expanded, and then the website had depth, and you can click on the website and go to this part of it and that part of it, and maps and then video and all these things, but they were still just the layer two experience of or web 2 experience of the internet. And now the next advent of that, which is an immersive experience, commerce, decentralized autonomous organizations that function within themselves, and then create an experience for users to immerse themselves into. That's the next level. That's what web 3 is in a nutshell, because I'm not the tech guy.
Do you see that metaverse as being a decentralized thing that people build on top of? From what you're saying, it sounds like, because if you're considering the metaverse as a holistic or more of a all-encompassing of whether you're a brand or you're an individual, and whether you're an individual or a brand here in the US or in China or somewhere else, you can go into the metaverse, which metaverse in and of itself is decentralized, but you can bring your centralized shit and sell to people in the metaverse, so to speak, or go fucking chill, whatever you want. Is that how you're seeing this?
Well, yes, but again, it's that it's I'm gonna say it. It's what we were talking about earlier, the meshing of the two worlds and bringing it all together. And we don't, Kyler, I saw that, bro. I saw that dinosaur. When we start talking about Triceratops when
You
they
guys are
roam the
from,
earth.
you guys live down same neck of the woods, don't you?
Yeah, he's my homeboy.
Hey, I heard you're going live, Kyler. Drop in the box that link. I saw something with your face on it. Drop it. If you're going live at some point, will you drop it down there so I can see it?
Yeah, I want to check it out too, bro. So I forget where we were now, but
the metaverse thing.
But yeah, it's we don't know what it's going to look like yet. We all have a lot of ideas of what we want it to be. And the same with these companies that are trying to get into the metaverse. They all know it's a buzzword. They all know it's just like the .com boom. They know they want a web page. They want a landing page. They want it to be worth millions like everybody else's. So they know they want it. They know they need to have it. They know it's the next innovation. Just nobody knows exactly what it looks like, because even my team we've got some developers that are just freaking brilliant, and they're still trying to figure it out amongst each other. They're on top of each other. Now, these are people that are building projects in the metaverse right now. These are people that are cutting edge because they understand blockchain and pulse chain. So they're coming together, still trying to figure this out. We're having meetings regularly, and they're tripping over each other, trying to figure it out, trying to present it. Companies are hearing what we're saying, are like freaking, they don't understand it. They just want somebody to be able to put on a pair of goggles and come into their web page, their web room or whatever. So there's a lot of that going on right now. So that's where we're at. We're at the beginning of the .com boom with the metaverse.
I think if this is, because I didn't see that connection that you brought forth, like between crypto and the metaverse, because in my mind they're distinct. Yeah. But the only and I don't know if this to be accurate, but I would see the only way for a truly like global metaverse would have to be decentralized, because otherwise you're not going to want people. There's going to be issues there's going to be issues in it no matter what. But I feel like it might be a better path forward to have a decentralized metaverse that's like the blockchain, but instead of maybe money, it's like the blockchain for metaverse, or it's built on top of something else. And this can get rid of layer one fees, so you don't even see that portion of it. Like, think about how cumbersome it is to try to explain to somebody that if you want to get hacks, you got to buy this first, and then you got to have these two things to buy this one thing, because this pays for this thing over here. Like, it's just asinine complex for somebody who's not like balls deep into it. So like, there's a decentralized crypto or built on top of it, that's an interesting way to, this is an interesting tangent we went on, but you were going to mention between Pulse X and Pulse. And what you're more
so I was saying that Pulse is definitely like the mid play. Like, it's going to do well. It may take it a little bit to get on its feet. I mean, of course, we're going to see pumps and dumps and all that kind of stuff in the middle. So just get ready, guys. There's 80-90% dips are in the game. I just, I tell everybody that you're in crypto now. It is not like the world of trading or anything else. If you got to be ready for an 80% dip and be able to go, oh, well, hey, we'll catch it on the next rise, because you're going to make all-time highs again. Just hold. So I think Pulse Chain is, that's the mid-range play. It's going to bring adoption to the world. The metaverse play, as it plays out in the next 4 or 5 years, 3 to 5 years, I would say. I mean, because technology is moving so fast these days. Once a blockchain exists and people can start building projects, they're going to. There's already metaverse projects out there, but I think they're going to come a lot faster once Pulse Chain exists. And then 3 to 5 years, it's going to be freaking a juggernaut.
Let's talk about once we're all settled in, okay? Let's imagine in a world where we're all settled in, which there's going to be a lifetime before we get there. But I understand.
You mean Pulse launches or
no? Like,
settled in?
Stabilizes and like things are moving in a good direction, or at least a direction, and we're all just still covering it. I can't exactly remember. Oh yeah. So I want to talk about the negative externalities of the specific tokenomics in general. Okay. So put all the social adoption aside. Like, I mean, I think that's going to be pretty explosive, and that kind of defers this whole point, but whatever. When it comes to rich people wanting money, right? I don't know much about it. And let's just be real for a second. Rich people don't talk much about what they do with their money, but I think a lot. That's the one thing. So I just curious, if I was a rich dude, I would want money, right? At least some, I want to have my stuff. What's the easiest way to take it out without damaging the price if I'm a hexagon or a pulsicon or a pulse hexagon? So let's talk real quick. Hold on. I'll keep with that point. Nardo for the win. Thank you so much. Great show, gentlemen. This is the kind of stuff I've been thinking about in the last 24 hours because I always point, or I've always been looking at the negative externality in hex. What is it? Rich people have to sell hex to get their money out. And they don't necessarily love doing that. Because one, they get negative press. Two, it's just like, that sucks. I wish I could sell something else. But with Pulse X, you're earning. If you provide liquidity, you're earning the incentive token. So I think it might give these rich guys an opportunity to maybe earn some of that cash that they need or want or in their reserves or other businesses in a way that could not damage the price as much as potential. And this is just this is all top off.
What I'm saying though is, we're like, okay, well, let's not damage this, but let's damage this.
But what would damage?
It's like,
what's the
just
damage about? What's the damage about?
So talk about it.
Well, you got to sell the incentive token, right?
So
what does that do to the price of the incentive token?
Right, I guess you're selling something.
But
doesn't it trickle out a little easier if it's coming off the back end or something like that? No.
It's the responsibility of how you get out. You should get out like you get in. It should be you should be dollar costing out. You have to set your life up, set yourself up, and look at your time horizon and look at what you've got to take out. Look, let's just face it. We can't all just hold forever. That's not how this works. You're supposed to take some jelly beans out of the jar. That's the way this works. If you think that any of the big whales aren't going to cash out, you're sadly mistaken.
Of course.
But is there a way to do it responsibly? Yes, there is. And the way to do that is going to be by limit orders. You're going to set up your monthly limit orders and you're going to take a little bit of jelly beans out of the jar that you need to do what it is that you want to do. Because like what? We're setting up staking ladders and we're going to tell everybody, no, but don't spend it.
Yeah.
Don't spend it. No, freaking set up your staking ladders and set up your monthly limit order. Watch where the price is and take a little out. And if it doesn't hit your limit order where you want it to hit, then okay, then take it next month or the month after, or wait until you start seeing a pump. When we start seeing a big pump, that's the time to start taking a little bit of gains off the table. Now, I'm not saying go dump $2, $3, $4, $5 million like some of these damn fools have been doing. Dollar cost out. Limit orders. Don't sell the price down into yourself. Set up a limit order and take what you need off the table and time it. Take enough so that you can, run the next bear market if a bear market's coming, if we can see it. The chart doesn't lie, guys. I mean, my dumb ass can look at the chart and go, okay, well, we're going to pump. Oh, here we go. We're on another run. Okay, we're on a run. I'm going to take a little bit of profits while it runs.
What makes people get to the point where, well, that's just like such a long point. Like, I know, but all the whales, but I agree. As somebody with way more, if somebody had enough money to influence the price, like, and they knew that clearly, they were like, this is clear, and they know the math. I'm sure they somewhat know how it works. Do you think most of them, not all, I know some of them might be trading bots for some of them. You never know. I don't know everything, but like the ones that are within the system and actually like the people and would hope this stuff works. Do you think that generally they try to do it the best way or just the most profitable possible way? Or do those things happen to be the same way?
It varies.
It varies. And I think that they are trying to do the right thing. I don't think that we have any maliciousness going out there. I think we have stupidity, not maliciousness. We'll see it, that people are dumping. You'll see a stake come out. You'll see an old OG stake come out. And then boom, you see this fool dumping all day long. And it's like, well, that was obvious what happened there, and it's hard for people who aren't educated to see $1 million, $2 million there and not want to take it out. That's been waiting for it for 2.5 years. I get it. I understand that. But we need to talk to these people more. We need to be speaking about this more often, about dollar costing responsibly out of the system. The tenets of Hex are the tenets of Hex. Hold long, be responsible, take care of the system, restake, and teach that to everybody. Like in my staking ladder, at first I was like, I did the math. I'm going to have this much money, this much Hex coming out every single month. Yeah, man, I can't wait to pull that out. Then as time went on and we started to learn, it's like, ooh, I don't want to lose my T-shares. I don't ever want to get below too many T-shares. So maybe I'll just take the principal out and restake it and just sweep the interest off and use that to dollar cost out on a monthly basis. And so it changed the tenets of Hex changed my thinking to where, no, I'm restaking constantly. And that just strengthens the system. All of the things that happen in Hex make better investors. And I'm not saying traders. We're not traders. We are investors. We're investing in a cryptocurrency that is a long-term hold, that is a long-term yield, that shows long-term yield, and has a very powerful system because of its inflation mechanism and because of the OA itself. So all of those things mixed together make people start thinking in a more responsible way. It changed my mind. It changed how I did things. Like when we first launched the AA lobby, for those of you who don't know, was when Hex basically came out onto the scene. We had a whole year of Hex wasn't launched. We were just getting in and buying our Hex and getting it from the AA lobby and all that stuff, right? We were waiting for big payday, they called it. And one of the things that I saw is as we were getting our Hex and staking it, that I had made some big mistakes because we were watching the value of the T-shares go up and how much the T-share was worth. You know, because when we started buying T-shares, they were 60 cents a piece. And now they're at 2,000 something a piece, right? So when we were buying those T-shares and the first year was coming due, we were getting ready for big payday. I started looking at this thing going, I fucked up. I shouldn't have staked all those 1 year stakes. I staked way too much for 1 year. I didn't get enough T-shares. So I emergency end staked all of my stakes that were a year old, that were 6 months old for no penalties, and just got my principal back out and said, okay, I screwed up. Boom. And I restaked all that longer. So that was another thing that the system made me do, is like, no short-term gain. This is about long-term gain. This is about T-shares. This is about, I want my little miners out there working because I'm going to make a lot more Hex doing so. So that's what we did. Everybody started emergency end staking going, oh shit, he's right. Get more T-shares. You want more T-shares at this cheaper price, because once the big payday came, look at the T-share price. It went boom, big jump, and it started moving up.
And the energy comes somewhere, so the energy has to go somewhere from all the kinetic energy from you just sitting there making money gives you more energy within your own life to do better. Therefore, it just helps the system more because we're all putting more into the system, and then we're working harder in real life because we're motivated by the system, which lets us know that we're going to be okay in the future, or potentially have it better than the banks and the news would like us, or like, how it actually is in reality,
Yep. So dollar costing out, important. That's how people should be looking at it.
How bad can the system get attacked if somebody with enough money came in, and just enough money? I know it would have to be an outrageous amount, but with enough money came in and just staked for 1 month and just like
Hex,
because I know people do that. I mean, I look at the top 100 wallets. I've seen a bunch of videos. I mean, there's a lot of people that month to month suck money out of Hex, and it's basically just like every small guy goes long, and a lot of the short guys just go short, and they kind of suck up the money, but it still has less negative externalities than Bitcoin.
And they're just pumping the share price.
Yeah.
Is all they're doing. And that's fine with me. Keep pumping that share price. Keep blowing it up.
RG, what do you think of, we're going to have 2 versions of Hex, right? So we're going to have E-Hex and we're going to have P-Hex. What do you think is going to play out? And obviously this is
what up, Bob?
Conjecture game, right? Because we're going to have higher fees on Ethereum. With what you're just saying, relative to the VCR, I was like, oh damn, he's 100% correct, because we've seen that play out with 1,000 other things, right? And that could potentially die off. Maybe it's 6 years, maybe it's 12 years, right? But what do you see playing out with? we've got 2 different sides, right? But we have that percentage of people who are staking, right? 10% roughly. That's going to be copied over. We're going to have both of those copied over on either side. One side is going to be substantially cheaper and faster, right? And at the beginning stages of the system starting, even though Hex is has been here for a little bit of time, right? So how do you see that playing out? Like, are you going to see that transitioning over? Curious to know how you're thinking about that.
So I've always been of the thought, because of the inflation mechanism and the staking mechanism, and the yield generating properties of Hex, that Hex is going to become so rare that it will disappear. You will literally have people waiting in line to get Hex, because you're talking about yield that can possibly not go under somewhere between 16 to 20%. Like, you can't make it go lower than that. Like, you can stake every bit of Hex, and because of the OA, you can't lower that yield interest rate past that. You can't.
Takes time.
So what does that mean to the world, where there's so many insurance companies and investment houses that need to make 3%, and these guys spit out a fucking spleen to go get 3% every single year for their clients? 3%, guys. Now, what happens when you have a tool that can make automatic 16, 15, 20%? They're going to be running for this stuff. They're going to be all over. And we know it works. See, we've been around for over 2 years and we know it works. We're like, oh boy, wait till they get a load of this thing. Wait till they see it. Flawless operation. 20% yield. My stakes are sick. They're coming out at over 50%. 50% because of penalties and everything. When the real world gets word of this, all the Hex will be staked on both chains. When Pulse launches and Hex gets bridged over, and the OGs and everybody with lots of Hex start bringing it over, I think it's going to find equilibrium. They're going to find a level like Richard has always said, and I see it. There's going to be an equilibrium. Just
once you know that people can just inherently do what they please with enough economic mass, and that would be very, very incentivized for a lot of people to just go ahead and make that happen. And the largest pool person would be very important too. People are going to want that position in the pool, correct?
Yeah.
As it's
you want to get as much, you want to get as big a position in the pool as you look. The biggest positions have not been put into the pool yet. Let me say it again. The biggest positions haven't been put into the pool yet. There's big money out there that can come into this space. Big money. Massive. And consistent money. And like I said, there'll be a line of people waiting for Hexicans to pull their freaking Hex out and give it to them. And that's what they want. Go ahead, dump it on us. Give it to us, because they're going to want to get that yield. That yield is a freaking important tool.
RG, this could even it's depending on how it's structured, you could take the framework, right? Because we're talking about iterative things, right? You have VCR, DVD, streaming, etc. Right? You have these iterations. We have BTC. That was like, oh, this is a cool idea. Let's create Ethereum. Oh, cool idea. This is better than that shit, right? Okay, let's create Pulse, right? So you can take the same idea of Hex, right, and create an insurance product that is substantially cheaper, doesn't have I'm a good driver, right, that pays for you, that's a bad driver, or in the medical system, when it comes to insurance, you can take the framework that is Hex and create an insurance product off of that, not just be, yes, obviously we got to link, they need to be brought together in some fashion before this happens, but you can take that framework that is Hex, iterate on that to create insurance products that are blockchain. Blockchain.
I mean, we're already seeing that next iteration is happening in Hex, and that's, you see Maxi and you see Hedron, you see those two wrapping themselves within the Hex yield generating tool and creating something. See, that's what's happening here. Is Hex is turning into a nucleus, and that's its power, because nothing generates yield like this. Nothing puts inflation on the back burner for 15 years. Inflation is being diverted for 15 years. Nothing does that. Nothing does that. The dollar don't do that. Bitcoin don't do that. Only Hex does that. To delay inflation like that. And then when that delayed inflation comes out, I just told you about my new mindset, right? My new mindset was telling me, I don't even want that inflation to go into the market. I want that inflation to go back into my future. So I'm taking that inflation, and some of it's getting staked out again. So you watch. There's inflation that's coming out today. There was inflation that came out day one that is going to be deferred for 30 years, because some people that get their first 15-year stake are going to take that interest and some of it off but some of it's going back in. So some of that hex is going to go back out for another 15 years. We're talking 30 years of inflation being delayed. That's, I mean, 15 years is one thing, but I'm guaranteeing you at the first 15 years, some of that inflation is going back into the system at 15 years. That doesn't, you don't see that anywhere. You don't see that anywhere. That is value. That is real money. That's not gold standard money. That's not, paper dollar standard money. This is real value that has been immutably created. And these are the things that people aren't really thinking about, is how valuable this stuff is. This is just, it's mind blowing when the real world sees it. Like you said, so the crypto space is 3.7%, right? That's freaking pittance of people in the world. And how many people are in hex that are in the crypto space? 1% of them, a fraction of that. So the whole world really doesn't even know about hex yet. They don't know, especially real world people that aren't even looking at crypto. Like the people that I'm talking about, the insurance companies that are out there spitting out a spleen to try and get that 3%. If they knew and found out about this, game over. Game over. Every hexagon, I don't care if you're a shy shell or whatever the heck they call it, you're to the moon. You're to the moon.
What you're describing for anybody who's thinking like about houses or like thinking in legacy land still as a way to kind of put these together. And then I have to run after this. But this has been freaking awesome. I've really enjoyed, interacting with you, meeting you for the first time. But when you think of like this house here, right, the appreciation happens. And then what do? I'm going to go through, pull that money out and use it for something that I find value to put that into, right? Well, what if that's locked up and I couldn't refinance that, and then inflation just kept building in the house over time as the house prices build over time? And that's effectively what has been put in place with hex, what RG is talking about, where that inflation, you're not going to be able to touch that for till some point into the future, whatever your prerogative is in terms of how you stake that stuff. And this is putting out in the future. So in the housing market, it's not even tied up that long. I can refinance every year if I wanted to. And you can't do that necessarily with hex, depending on how it's structured. So that's very, very interesting point. I don't know if we lost RG.
No, it's just my camera. I still gotta fix my camera.
It's all good.
But hey, you're absolutely right. And I hope people can start understanding this deeper thought. I mean, it's one thing, we're going to have some amazing growth. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to see a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of strategy coming. Real quick before you leave, the last thing that I think of as the shiny object is PulseX. PulseX is going to be the shiny object, but it's got some real depth to it. So I think that it's going to do a lot better than all of the other DeFi DEX protocols that we've seen because of the game theory that Richard's put into it. So I think the short-term play is PulseX, but could turn into a mid-long-term play in and of itself. It's brilliantly done. I'm excited to see what it's going to happen. The yield farming and all of the tools, the staking tools that are in it, give everybody even a whole different layer of options for them to figure out for themselves what they want to get involved in. But the whole thing is nothing but good. PulseX is nothing but good. And I think that it's going to be the thing that really moonshots, that people are really interested in, that people are really going to utilize, because Pulse is going to give it the ability to do so. I mean, the trading that's going to go on is going to be, it's like, I don't know if you guys have ever been into those trading rooms where like I went to when what do you call it? First Polygon, one of them, Matic or whatever, first launch. And we were in there trading like, oh my gosh, there's no fees. This is so great. Just trade, move stuff around. It was just, that's how blockchain should work. That's how they should work. And this DEX is going to be that, and it's going to be real, and it's going to have bridges, and it's going to have every crypto that's on an Ethereum is going to be on there. It's going to be so much excitement. It's going to be so fire, and everybody's going to be super excited about it. The other two, it's going to take, a little bit because the pump is primed and they're just juggernauts and they're going to be the goats. But that PulseX, man, is just, I think that thing is going to be just crazy. Absolutely crazy.
That's how I feel about it too. With the way that's structured, some of those things, we don't even have the complete picture yet because we don't know how the incentive token is going to be working, right? But you look into that and you're like, holy shit, this is going to be absolute insanity. Like, if you have a 10,000x drop, I gotta go. My girlfriend's fucking waiting for me.
Get out of here.
Yeah, don't blow that one, man. Don't blow that one. Sam, it was a pleasure meeting you. Thanks for having me on with you guys today. I appreciate it.
Appreciate your
Yeah,
time.
I'm
I
gonna
think
get
TSC
off
is gonna stay on.
Sam, peace out.
Yes.
RG.
All right, guys, triple biceps.
Yes. Sweet. Peace out, guys.
You guys are rocks, man.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, guys.
Gentlemen.
Have a great day. I'm going
was
to
a
play
pleasure.
a little vid real quick. Let's get it. Bullish, you still there? Or you want me to play it?
What are you going to do?
Play a song. But I don't know if he's going to play it or not, or if he's still there. Let's see. I might have to click it. Guys, RG, it's been wonderful.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, man.
You're
I'll talk
awesome.
to you
Keep
soon,
doing the good
brother.
stuff. Catch you soon, bro. Hey.
Young folks, you dripping on them motherfucker.
With your heart. With your heart.
Bought my hex from the fucking start. Point one every day we mark. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Checking my MetaMask moving. Look at the hex, he is mooning. Looking at wives they be choosing. Peter is why they be losing. Pro chains out, now get me a check. He's gas up and it got me a mess. Remember the times he died collect. Hex had me eating, I'm dying in the best. Getting this back like a year.